All right. Good morning or afternoon. It's afternoon where I'm at, and it's 12 noon Eastern Standard Time where I'm at. I'm Charles with the Exodus Logistics Learning Center. Today I have with me KHIRA. KHIRA is a dispatching student, and also she's our intermodal specialist. She is the intermodal queen, as far as I'm concerned.
All
And then, of
right.
course, we have my content person, Mr. Sadan with Sadan's Consulting. And what we're doing here, we're going to Sadana's going to ask KHIRA some questions about her experience with Exodus and then what she's doing now and what she has going on in the future and things of that nature. So I'll give the floor to Mr. Sadan. The floor is yours, sir.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, once again, shout out to Charles and the Exodus Logistics team, America's #1 freight brokering and dispatching programs. So if you are interested in a great job that you don't have to leave your house to do, make sure that you go to the website. It should be in the link. And also today, what we're doing is we're just highlighting one of our students who turned into a star. So basically this is kind of the Students to Stars series. And Miss Guillory is our star today. So we're just going to ask her some questions. We're going to hear about her journey. We're going to hear about her business, hear how she went from working, 9 to 5 to, owning her own business and being very successful at it. So everybody, please stay tuned. It's going to be a bunch of great information that you can use to be at home where you should be in 2023. All right. So let's just start from the beginning. So what would you prefer? Would you prefer that we call you the intermodal queen or
or KHIRA or KHIRA?
KHIRA. Yes, KHIRA. Good morning, you guys. Thank y'all so much, Mr. Charles. This is a pleasure to be on here on this platform with you, and it's nice meeting you, Mr. Sadan.
All right. So let's just start from the beginning because we like to start from the beginning. What were you doing before you got into dispatching?
I was a human resources manager for a security company for 11 years. 2 of those years, I did dispatching for security.
Mm-hmm. So what was going on that made you decide I don't want to work for anybody else anymore?
It has been a lifelong dream, passion of mine. It's kind of instilled in me. My father has been an entrepreneur all of my life. I knew very at a young age that I wanted to become an entrepreneur because I saw that the time freedom that it gave him. My mom had to prepare me for school in the morning, but my dad was the one who was able to take me to school in the morning. I didn't know at that time what that meant, but I know that, in vacations, he never had to request off. My mom did. So I said I wanted that. Just didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I was introduced to this lovely world of trucking, and yes.
So you don't drive the truck. So what drew you to dispatching?
My cousin expressed the not gonna say passion. She expressed the wanting to learn how to drive a truck and something that she wanted me to do with her. And
Mm-hmm.
so I explained to her, I didn't want to drive. I was like, no, I don't want to drive a truck. And she said, well, you don't have to drive. You could be my dispatcher. And she said,
Mm-hmm.
you already know how to dispatch. And I said, well, is that the same? They have that? She said, yes. So I kind of blew it off, but she began to send me videos and
Mm-hmm.
I began researching.
Mm-hmm.
And within my research, I ran across Mr. Charles.
So so
Hey,
what drew you to Mr. Charles?
His style of teaching. Like I said, I did some research and I was, listening to, seeing some of the comments about people taking courses, not able to get in touch with their instructors after they've completed the courses, or some of them while they're taking the courses. And then people just stating that they had questions, not fully understanding what they went through. So when I saw his curriculum and how everything was set up, I said, oh no, like I have to do this. I have to do this with him because it seems like he's very knowledgeable about the industry and he's there to give that extra one-on-one training if you need that, or to answer questions. I love the fact that he comes on like 3 times a week and give extra help, questions, goes over the curriculum again with you. So I was like, yeah, I was sold.
Okay. So how long have you actually been dispatching?
As far as just intermodal or in a whole?
In the whole.
11 months.
Okay. So when did you really start to notice, hey, I could do this for a living and that it really works?
April of 2022. That's when I resigned from my full-time job.
Okay. So you've been doing it 11 months and you resigned in April.
Mhm.
So that's what, 6 months ago?
Yes, I've been full-time working in my third bedroom here at my home. Mhm.
Okay. So I'm just trying to do the math. So 6 months ago, you quit your job
Yes,
of what, over a decade, I think you said, as an HR person?
yes. Mhm.
And you say you only been doing this 11 months. So after 5 months, you were able to quit your job.
Yes.
Wow.
With
What gave
it.
you,
Mhm.
so what gave you the courage to say, yeah, I'm not going to work anymore. I'm being home dispatch.
Um, it was one of those things. Working where I worked, I was never appreciated for as much as I gave out. I was having to work between 6 and 7 days a week to make the income to where I was comfortable.
Mm,
Missing out on life with my son, missing out on family events sometimes, or having to get to the family event very late because I had to work, didn't get off till 7 or, 7 p.m. or something like that. Um, and again, it's always been a passion of mine. So I had been doing little things along the way, but I just knew that this had to work for me. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I kind of jumped in head
mm,
first and I said, you know what? I've got to make this work. Because this to me, the industry, it was everything was coming together. I would say it like that. It was coming together to a way that I know if I put my all into it, it could
mm.
meet my expectations and more.
Okay. So now before we were missing family events, we were showing up late, we was working, seemed like 6, 7 days in a row. So now what life look like now?
um, because I would definitely be honest. Becoming an entrepreneur is hard work. You
Mm-hmm.
do have to put in the work, you do have to put in the time. Depending on the type of person you are, I'm that person. I'm going to make sure that my next week will be better than my week before.
Mm-hmm.
So some days I am working 12, 16 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just wanted to, I could be off of work every day at 3 o'clock. I could work 6 hours a day and still meet and be able to pay my bills. Um, to me though, I feel like I want to be ahead of the game. I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that um I've been able to start to be able to live a lifestyle that I'm loving, that I've always dreamed about, and I want that to continue. So I'm putting in the extra time and the extra work. So yes, I'm working 12 to 16 hours a day sometimes.
So for you, it seems like it's about legacy and being able to level up.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely.
So you got a son, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how is it different now that mommy's not always at work?
Um it's now he's he told me the other day he wish he could still come home and just have the free time because when I'm here, when he gets home, it's like clean up your room, do this, do that. But now it's more structured. I think our lives are becoming more balanced now because all before I would be so tired that I didn't have time to go and look in his room, make sure things were put up. Um, didn't have the extra money to be able to go do extra things on the weekends, plan trips. And it's not such a strain. Let me say, I mean, I did take trips, but it was not such a strain. Now it's like, let's go, or we're gonna go ahead and plan this. It's not, is this, it's not to me, it's not a life or death situation where now I'm really, really thinking about the choices that I made for us to be able to go on this family vacation, next summer or something like that.
But if you had your laptop and your phone, couldn't you still work from other places?
Yes, but I feel like I work hard, so I want to go on vacation and work on vacation. But
She's like, I could be by the pool with my laptop and
I
phone, but I don't
definitely
want to
can.
really be by the pool.
I went on a cruise in May, the early part of June, and I brought my laptop.
Okay, and you were still making money.
Still making money. Still making money. Actually, I got to one of the stop. We were on a cruise. I got to one of the stops and email paperwork in to make sure my carrier's proof of delivery was sent in. I was still making money
On a cruise.
on a cruise. I think I was in Grand Cayman Islands. I think.
Wow.
And paid
So-
my house note, mind you. So
Wow.
just conducting all kind of business on vacation. But you know, that is the lifestyle that I wanted, and that's the lifestyle that this industry provided for me.
Okay. So what's the coolest, would that be the coolest thing dispatching has allowed you to do? Go on flex for the people one time.
Yes, I'm mobile. You guys, I've sat in my car and cold call carriers while my son was on the inside getting a haircut. Just cold calling. I ran inside of the barbershop and said, I need the Wi-Fi password. I need the Wi-Fi password. Got in was because he signed up for the services and I had to send him my agreements.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't have been able to do that at a 9 to 5.
Mm.
Okay. So we're gonna take a quick little break. Charles, you know, we got a special running right now. You know, I'm gonna give you the floor to let you talk to the people about the special that we have running right now to the end of the year. And then we're gonna get in and talk about Intermodal.
All right.
Charles, the
So,
floor is yours.
all right. Thank you. So yeah, great segue, Sanan. We do have a special, 50% off year-end extravaganza, guys, for freight brokers as well as dispatchers for the ongoing course. So if you go to our website under Dispatcher 101, the ongoing course, we're having our 50% off extravaganza year-end, 50% off of our normal price points with the promo code half off to now, from now until December 31st. And this is on the freight broker side as well as the dispatcher side. This is dispatcher. And then on the freight broker side, the same thing. If you go there to our ongoing section of freight broker, you click outside of this disclaimer and you go into our freight broker side as well. It's the half off of the freight broker as well, the ongoing promo code as well. So year-end sale, we're giving everyone an opportunity, half off the price to come into dispatching and freight brokering before the new year, because our price points are going to change in the new year. We're going to come out with those new price points. But right now, we're having a 50% off sale, promo code half off. Okay. Thank you.
One more thing before we go away. There's a 2-for-1 as well, right?
Yeah. So what that means is the half off sale is for single member enrollment as well as 2-for-1 under the ongoing training. So if you're going to take ongoing dispatching training, whether it's as a single member person or a 2-for-1, the price is half off. If you're going to take the ongoing training on the freight broker side, single member and 2-for-1, the price will be half off now until the end of the month, the end of the year. So, and in both cases, the promo code is half off.
All right, and the website is, once again, for the people at home.
The website is www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. That'll take you to the homepage. Once you come to the homepage, at the top you'll see a list of headers under which Dispatcher 101 and Freight Broker 101. You just hover your mouse over which one you decide to take, and you select the ongoing training course for that particular course that you want. The dispatcher one, you select ongoing for dispatching. Under the freight broker, you select the ongoing for freight broker, and it takes you to that specific page. Details will be on the page, and you read that for yourself. And you scroll down further, it tells you what's in the course, what are you getting in that course, as well as a disclaimer about what you get in the course. You know, and you fill that out, submit that you've read and understood the disclaimer. And that's going to change after the new year. But right now, for this year, 2022, this is what you get and what's included. And you take advantage of the half off with the promo code half off. Okay.
Ms. Giller, is this the same program you took? All right. So we see that it works. So
Yeah.
All right. So now let's talk about intermodal, because until the other day when we had our pre-interview, it was the first time I'd ever heard of intermodal. So, Charles, maybe give us a little bit of a background, and then Ms. Guillory, you could take over and just tell us how it's working for you.
Okay. Well, intermodal, the word literally is, so when you're when a shipment is let's say you order something from China, right?
Okay.
And it needs to be shipped internationally, that one shipment has to go through different modes of transportation to get from where it was made to your doorstep, right?
Right.
That process is an intermodal process, going from one mode of transportation to another mode. So if it's coming from China, it can't get to your door in America. We're in America, unless it comes either by the air or the vessels, the sea vessels. Those are modes of transportation. In transportation, there's about 5 modes of transportation. There's air, there's rail, there's land, there's sea, and and in some cases there's pipeline. Stuff comes through the pipelines as well. So those are 4 or 5 modes of transportation. Well, one shipment can cross various modes from beginning to end in order to get to your destination. So intermodal, in a sense, where KHIRA comes in at, she's dealing with what's called the ports, where freight is coming into either by the vessels, by the sea vessels. Those containers of goods are being shipped internationally, let's say from China, and they get to, let's say, a port on the East Coast or a port on the West Coast. Port on the East Coast, like Savannah, like where I'm at, Port of Virginia, Jacksonville, Port of Jersey, New York, Port of Baltimore, all the up and down the Eastern Seaboard, right? Port of Miami, Port of Manatee, all these ports. So that's a process involved in that. Once it gets to the ports, those containers are offloaded off of the ships, right? With what's called a gantry crane, and then they're loaded onto the chassis trailers of those trucking companies that comes and grabs those containers. Those are usually dredge companies, right? But sometimes they're owner operators too, running under their own credentials, their own SCAT codes or their own UIIA credential or what have you, right? So KHIRA has latched on to that process and she has become great at that. She goes through the process of getting drivers, owner operators with their own power units, which is just the tractors themselves without the trailers. She has a process where she gets them certified and qualified to be able to go into the ports, what's called a UIIA certification. And then she also has a way to get them, or in some cases, the drivers already may have their SCAT, or they may be running under someone's SCAT, which is standard carrier alpha code, right? All drivers have to have a TWIC card to get into the port. So KHIRA has mastered that process because she's been doing it repetitively over and over and over again. And then she's been running into hiccups here and there in the process, which is good because now you're learning, because intermodal and running into the ports is not a smooth process. And every port has a different workflow and process at that specific port. Not all ports are going to be easy, right? Like, for example, the Houston ports, Bay ports, those ports are kind of, and since she lives in Houston, she's gotten that process down to a science. But now she's tapping into, I believe, New Orleans and maybe Savannah, and she's discovering that those ports they have different processes than this port here. Not everyone runs on the same keel, right? But that is intermodal, one mode of transportation to another mode in the movement of one shipment. Okay.
All right. So Ms. KHIRA, okay, how did we get into intermodal? Because I know, again, like I said, till the other day, I'd never heard of it before. And it seems like it's very lucrative. So where'd you get started? What made you go that particular route?
So when you take the Dispatch 101, we're taught to cold call, and there's several ways to acquire carriers, but in my journey for acquiring carriers, one of the carriers that I was able to onboard, he was running through the ports and he was doing intermodal, but he wanted me to dispatch his hotshots. So as time went on, I started, asking a few questions about it. And I had another carrier who had a dry van, and just listening to his wants, his needs, and that's what we're taught as well to, we're problem solvers as dispatchers. We're problem solvers. So if there's a issue that has come up and your carrier is expressing, he wants to only go these areas, he wants to be home by this time, this intermodal made sense, because within intermodal, my carriers are going home every day, every night they're home. Whereas to when you're doing dry vans, reefers, not power only, dry vans, reefers, flatbeds, you can be over the road, for a week or, a couple of days at a time. Intermodal is in the port, out the port, same day.
So this is actually something that families could do together.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's cool. So now what people at home gonna want to know, they're gonna want to know what the possibilities are financially for you. So have you seen like a really big increase from your 9 to 5 to being a dispatcher?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So no salary cap.
No, there's none. I have had a 5-figure month. Never had a 5-figure month working a 9 to 5.
Okay. And you've only been doing this 11 months.
Yes.
Okay. So when we say 5 figures, people at home, we're not talking about $5,000. We're talking about 4 zeros and then a number, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that we're clear. And to be honest, some people don't make, that type of money a year.
True. So
would you say that this was what you expected, or has it exceeded your expectations?
Completely exceeded my expectations. I would say in the time frame. I saw and I heard stories being people of being successful in the industry, but I thought, I had to have, 2 to 5 years at least experience. I never thought that it would happen this fast.
Okay. So what would you attribute your fast rise to?
Networking. You've got to be networking. You have to stay abreast in the industry. You cannot get lazy. You cannot just get comfortable. If that's what your goal is. I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. Like I said, I like the time freedom. I love the being able to do the things that I desire to do as far as vacations and spending time with my family. Let's go, going to do, things with my son. This is something that I want to do, and to be able to save money. He's going to be 16 in 2 years. He's going to want a car. I could not think about getting him a car at my 9 to 5 at the level that I was at. No.
Okay, so he at the barbershop regularly now. He taking trips. He about to get a car. We're gonna keep that a secret, unless he watching.
Right.
Like, my mama said she gonna buy me a car.
He knows who Mr. Charles is. He knows.
So what role would you say Charles has played in this for you?
Man, he is I don't know. He's definitely a little angel. I can't, don't make me get emotional. I'm an emotional person, but no, he's definitely been an angel in the situation. I thank him so much. I thank God for him. He really does stay connected. And within that, no one knows what you're going through unless you open your mouth and say what's going on. I had a very low point, it's not glitz and glam. I had a very low point, and I spoke with him about it. And that's kind of, how we got to where we are, is because I expressed like, hey, I have this going on. And yes, he probably does say it on Wednesdays and Saturdays and Sundays when he does his trainings, but sometimes you can get bogged down in your own situations and you miss those vital key points that someone has already given out. But it was just some issues about my driver, but he was one person who said, listen to what he's saying. He's either going to do what you suggest that he does, or you're going to have to find you another carrier. And so that was where I listened to him, and he wanted to be at home on Fridays, and he still wanted to make X amount of dollars. So that's why I said, well, this was my suggestion. And if he didn't want to do it, Mr. Charles said, get another carrier. And that's what I was going to do.
So even after you took the course, you're still able to reach out to him and he's still answering questions for you.
Absolutely. Probably just called him last week. Absolutely.
All right. So you said you did your research, you looked at a lot of courses. Like, what were you like, what price wise, what were you seeing for some of these other courses?
I'm going to tell you, I've seen courses lower than his, and I've seen courses higher than his. What I'm going to say is cheap does not always mean better.
Mm-hmm.
No. I've seen a course for $50 and everyone says it was all reading material. I'm not a reader. You
Mm-hmm.
have to know who you are. I knew I was a person who needed that extra one-on-one help. I knew I was a person who needed my questions answered. And these are the services that he provided. I know people whose courses cost way more than his, and they don't know where they are. They can't get in touch with the person. That is so very sad. But
Unfortunately, we hear that a lot. We hear a lot of times that people, they're getting voicemails and they're getting unreturned emails, and they're talking to people who aren't the person that sold them the course. And one thing we never hear about Exodus is that they can't find Charles.
right. You won't hear it. You will not hear it. And he has a dynamic team to where if he does miss it, someone else is, they're going to reach out to you. They're going to tell you, okay, we'll make sure that, we'll get in touch with him, so on and so forth. I really never had that problem. So I really can't testify to it, but I know the team members. So I know that someone will get the message out to him if he's not able to.
Well, I've actually been in the car with him and seen him take calls. So I know that he picks up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Even, at times that, you'd be surprised, we're sitting, we're having lunch. He's like, man, I need to take this.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I've also had other business owners that I've worked with that, the phones are jumping off the hook and they're just like, I'm not answering that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I really want to give Charles his flowers as well as you right now, just for what you guys have been able to create, and in your case, man, we're talking about 11 months, not even a whole year yet.
No, not yet.
So do you have a plan to celebrate the anniversary? Because it's right around the corner.
I know. So my birthday was Sunday. So my cousin asked me that same question. She said, what are you going to do for your, work anniversary? And I just said, I don't really know. But she said, yeah, we're going to do something. Because I don't even know what day of the week it actually falls on, but I don't know, we'll do something, maybe, out to eat or something.
You got options now.
Yeah. That's for sure.
So while we got you here, I mean, I'm sure maybe somebody's watching who maybe wants to do intermodal, who maybe wants you to dispatch for them so that they can be home on the weekends, that they could be home at 5 o'clock. How do they reach you?
They can reach me on social media. I am on Facebook. I have a Facebook group. It's called Dispatching Intermodal 101.
Mm-hmm.
They can send me an email at also dispatchingintermodal101@yahoo.com. Website coming soon. But it's also dispatching intermodal 101.
All right. So are you looking for new drivers?
Yes, Houston based.
Okay, so they got to be in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And is there anything else you're looking for when the driver? Because we don't want to just have everybody flooding you. We want to get you the right people.
Who has their MC authority. You don't have to be set up with the ports. I can assist with setting you up with the ports, but you must have your own authority. We'll go over every other qualification that you'll need. I just ask that that you are teachable, be flexible, and be ready. This industry, this portion of this industry, it's not like what you're used to. I'm going to give you the ABCs of how it should go. And I would highly suggest, in order to be profitable, you have to make sure that you take heed. Some people get in it and they just say, oh, the money looks great, but there are some other factors they're going to come into play. And that's where the one-on-one that we will have will definitely help you be successful in this industry, this portion of this industry.
Great. Charles, um, what do you plan on doing for people who maybe are already dispatchers and now they want to figure out how to do intermodal? Is there anything
Well,
that you and Miss KHIRA can do to help them?
yeah, so I am as part of my Exodus University, I'm going to put KHIRA's information through Exodus University, and KHIRA has already produced a workflow, kind of an outline of her course, so they can funnel through Exodus and through all of my channels, platforms, YouTube channels, Instagram, and things like that to get to KHIRA if they're interested in intermodal, and that's probably gonna open up the floodgates. So we're probably gonna have to monitor that a little bit more stringently to keep people who really don't want to be in it from taking up a lot of KHIRA's time, because she has very specific qualifications for these carriers, and we want to make sure that those are the ones that come to her, right? But as far as what I'm doing with KHIRA, we're going to join forces and having her in the Exodus University. I'm putting together that with a bunch of other current and former students who have expertise in other aspects of transportation, right? And KHIRA is one of them. She's an expert, in my opinion, again, in intermodal. And she's proven herself on a daily basis. Prior to us getting on this call, she was on the phone with her carriers putting out a fire, right? So she knows what she's doing, guys. Basically, that's the bottom line. You heard it here first, right? So if you don't hear anything else from me, KHIRA knows what she's doing in intermodal, right? She's been through the ringer and experiences with it. So she knows what she's doing. So that in and of itself qualifies her for Exodus University as far as intermodal.
So just need to stay tuned, keep checking back on the website, and pretty soon you'll see KHIRA and Charles in some kind of form putting together something for you guys to actually purchase, to sit in on, to learn from. So just stay posted. You can follow her on Facebook. You can also go to Instagram and follow Charles, or you can just go directly to the website.
Yeah. So
And of
Exodus
course,
University,
for people already on YouTube, just make sure you hit the subscribe and like button.
right? The purpose of Exodus University is to give those current and former students an opportunity to showcase their skill sets at their price points, right? And to provide those who are interested in those skill sets to find a specific niche or a niche, like compliance, trucking, intermodal, whatever the case may be in Exodus University. I'm putting together a team of experts who have been current or who have been former students and or are current students. So KHIRA definitely will be a part of that,
Well, here's the cool thing about that, though, because these aren't a bunch of old people who used to be in the industry, and they're just looking for a second income because they've kind of slowed down and they're retired. These are people who are actively every day cold calling, contacting, working through issues, dealing with stuff in real time. So what you're getting when you go to Exodus University or you go to Miss KHIRA is you're getting somebody who actually does this. Because a lot of times what we're seeing in the industry is that there are people who maybe haven't done this in 20 years trying to tell you how to do it, and they're not able to really understand what the demands are on the drivers, what the demands are on the dispatchers, how new technology works. And these people do, what she's doing right now is amazing. We're talking about 11 months, 11 months, there are people who in the next 11 months who want to do the same thing. And we just want to be able to give you every piece of information that we possibly can to help you be successful. Right now, it's 50% off, which is the lowest it'll ever be. Trust me, Charles and I fought about that. Charles won. So it's half off. It's literally, you can join Dispatcher 101, America's #1 dispatching program, for less than $300. I mean, I think it's roughly about $249 or something like that right now. And one thing that Miss KHIRA can attest to is if you pay $250 for something and you had a 5-figure month, that thing's paid for itself 1,000-fold.
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Right. And and it still continues to. But with that being said, if there's one thing that you could really say to somebody who is on the fence about doing this or not doing this, Ms. KHIRA, what would it be?
What do you want out of life? Are you tired of working a 9 to 5, or do you need to make a little extra money a month? I would highly suggest getting into this industry. It's not going anywhere. If you open up your pantry, everything in your pantry was shipped to a store near you by a truck. This is an industry that is not going anywhere. They need the trucks. It's definitely an industry to where you won't not have to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. It is, and it's not hard. It's repetition. You do have to put in the work, but once you and the repetition is the easy part. Once you do it, you just continue to do it. You continue to stay abreast on everything, but you continue to do the same thing. And you can work from the comfort of your own home. I'm in my 3rd bedroom. I'm no longer sitting in traffic for 2 or 3 hours to get to work. Well, maybe 2 hours to get to work. I don't have to call and ask anybody for any time off. If I need to run and grab my son, I need to go to a doctor's appointment. It's giving me the time freedom that I desire to have. So it's about, what do you want? If you want something if you want to get into something that has a low overhead, you guys, I have a laptop computer. I'm using my cell phone. I just purchased this Bluetooth device here, but it was about $20, $30. Very low cost, low overhead. You don't have to go and rent a building. You can do this in your own bedroom. It's very feasible, low cost,
And,
easy work.
and one thing I want to say, just to add to that, is that you have a son, a teenage son. And how much better do you feel that you could keep up with him now? Because I mean, when you're at work, you're always wondering, what is my son doing? Where is he at? Is he safe? Because you said earlier that when he gets home, you're home.
Yes, I'm home.
He might not like
it. He definitely don't like it.
No, he's on chores. He's doing things that he should do. Because all before it was like, okay, you're home, start your homework, do this. And he started cleaning up 10 minutes before he knew the garage door was going up. So, now it's not that. I do let him rest a little bit, but then I'm like, okay, hey, get in there, go do that.
But
and then
he's
also
home. He's
yes. And my son works with me. He will work with me.
So he's learning the business.
He makes my cold call list for me. He puts it together. I've taught him how to vet carriers and to make the list.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So when we say this is a family affair, this is truly a family affair.
Literally,
yes.
Literally.
When you ask the question, can your family do this? Yes, absolutely.
So you gotta, so even a 14-year-old can do it, right?
A 14-year-old can do it, yes.
Wow.
This has been a good time. Now, before we get off, tell the people one more time how they get in touch with you.
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Instagram. I'm on there as Secure Logistics 21. Mm-hmm. On Facebook, I'm under Dispatching Intermodal 101.
All right. So make sure you reach out to her if you got any questions. And again, in order to be a driver for you, they need
their MC authority.
Okay, and then you'll walk them through step by step on how to get into the ports, and then you guys will go from there.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Charles, as they call you so affectionately, Mr. Charles, yeah, tell the people how to get in touch with you.
Get in touch with me on either through the website www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com, or you can go to the email exoduslogisticsllc@yahoo.com or info@exodusdispatchingandtraining.com, or call me, area code 757-515-1684, or there's another one too. I'll get that out on the link. But there's a web email, 757-695-9565. All of that information will be in the links in the bottom in the chat area of this video. But yeah, that's how you get a hold of me. So.
And one more thing, since we're talking about, if anybody's on the fence, we know what Ms. KHIRA says, the queen of intermodal. But what would you say to somebody if they were on the fence, like, should I become a dispatcher or not? What would you say?
You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Well, I always use an analogy, but if you're tired of being an indentured servant at your employer's plantation and you want to leave at 9 to 5 and become free, just follow the Nat Turner of logistics at Exodus Dispatching and Training. But yeah, that's an analogy I always use because
the Nat Turner of logistics.
sometimes you gotta certain audiences you're talking to, you gotta hit them a little harder than others. But if you're tired of the 9 to 5, right? If you're tired of being told what to do, if you're tired of dealing with different personalities at your job, if you're tired of wasting money on fuel, gas, going to work, if you're tired of sitting in traffic, if you're tired of having to be told when you can have your time freedom back in the form of a vacation. Like you want to go on vacation, but you got to get permission from someone. And you're your own human being, you're your own person, but you got to ask someone else when you can have your time freedom. That's slavery to me.
Grown up. Gotta ask somebody else.
Yeah, that's indentured servitude to me, right? I used to be in that space. So I got tired of it. So I decided to become an entrepreneur. I bought my house on Black Wall Street, right? And I became an entrepreneur. So I'm inviting others to, there's a lot of real estate on Black Wall Street. So come on and buy a house over here on this street and come join us, right? In the form of the transportation industry, right? You can be your own boss. You can control your own destiny. Now, I don't want to make it sound like it's easy because it's not, right? I'll be honest, you have to put the work in. You have to learn any industry you come in, whether it's transportation, whether it's real estate, or any business, you have to put the work in. You get out what you put in. My job as an instructor is to give you the foundation and lay that out for you. If you follow the roadmap, you will be successful. KHIRA, you will be successful. Other people, other students, Miss Cherie, you will be successful. Miss Shantae, you will be successful. I can go on and on. Right, because these individuals followed the roadmap. Mr. Joshua Thompson, Mr. James Pierre. We got all these different students who've been successful because they followed the blueprint, the roadmap. So that's what I would say. If you're on the fence, if you're on the fence and you've used to doing this and you've seen how painful it is, I would at least try the other option. And if it doesn't work out for you, then go back to that other experience. But if you're on the fence and you already know this side, and you're curious about this side, then try that side. There's a saying, success is on the other side of fear.
Exactly.
So success is on the other side of fear. Right now, here's fear, here's you, and here's fear. Success is over here, but you got to get past this little wall here. Just walk around the thing.
Exactly.
Right.
And there's never been a better time to take a risk than right now because again, it is 50% off. So it is $250. So I mean, it's cheaper than a pair of Jordans. And it can feed you for a lifetime.
Yeah, I saw about my nephew. My nephew just wanted a pair of Jordan. They were $269, the retros, the red ones. I'm like, wait a minute, who's paying $269 for a pair of sneakers? No, I can get you a business for that amount and less, and you can buy all the sneakers you want.
Exactly. Don't buy it. Don't necessarily. I'm not saying don't buy Jordans. That's not what we're saying. But if you are looking for something that could possibly feed you for the next 10 to 15 years of your life, allow you to work from home, and be a better parent, be a better human being, and really be the adult that you want to be, this is the time to do it. So I mean, it's been a pleasure having you guys on. Again, this is Students to Stars, with Exodus Logistics. Watch it back from the beginning, share it with a friend. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, because we want to make sure that every time we run one of these and highlight somebody and give you some help and some real knowledge, that you get it first. So,
Exactly.
and also make sure you go to the website and sign up, because again, you know, when the actual program starts with Ms. KHIRA, the Intermodal Queen, you want to be able to take full advantage of that too. And we also have some other really great stuff coming up in 2023.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
2023 is a new year coming. 2022 is about to be in the past. So what are your changes that you have for yourself? What do you plan on doing? Do you plan on being in the same? If you don't like the position you're currently in and this new year is coming up, then you would have to make a decision. Now, I can't make the decision for you, right? But if you don't like the position you're in and it's a painful experience you're going through, change your experience. Now, you can change your experience by starting a business or doing whatever you feel that you need to do to change it. What we're saying is we're offering you an opportunity to become an entrepreneur in an industry, like Ms. KHIRA said, that is literally not going anywhere. It will never go anywhere. They just tried to have a railroad strike, and Congress came out with legislation to support the rail workers. So that's been shot down. So they know if transportation goes away, it's going to shut the economy down, and they don't want that, right? So,
but as always, I'm Sidon Long. You can find me at grownandrich.com, or you can just go on Twitter or Instagram or YouTube or any of those things and put in Sidon. That's SADON, Long, LONG. It has been a pleasure being a part of this interview with our Intermodal Queen.
Salute the Queen. All hail the Queen.
Hail the Queen.
Bow when you get in her presence.
And I'm going to let Charles take us out of here.
All right, guys. Yes, she is. And on this, as far as this platform is concerned, she is the Intermodal Queen. Yes, she is.
Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Always a student. Always a student.
Right. So some of the best teachers and instructors realize that they don't know everything, and realize that they are still learning in life, whether it's in what they're expert at teaching in or in life in general. So some of the best teachers are still students. So you realize that. So, but yes, you are our Intermodal Queen. Thank you for your time. I know you're very busy. I know you're putting out fires, looking at your phone. Which is proof positive. That's proof right there. You're busy. You're doing it right now in
5 minutes, he said.
Right. Multitasking. You're multitasking. We're gonna let you go. Thank you very much for your time, KHIRA. I appreciate the interview. It will be on our platforms in a second, and we'll give you your flowers.
You tell your friends and family to come check you out.
Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Look at all 24, look at all 24, 25.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Sidon. Thank you, Mr. Charles, again, for being on this platform. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Have a great one.
All right, guys.